is World Polio Day. There's signs all over our district that say "End Polio Now." Rob Dobbs had a sign up there too, just so you know. It is World Polio Day, commemorated internationally to continue the fight to eradicate the terrible and debilitating disease of polio. For those that don't know me, I'm Julie Dobski. I have the honor of currently serving as District Governor for Rotary International District 6490 here in Central and Eastern Illinois. Thank you. Now, my district is home to 44 clubs and 1,943 Rotarians. And each year, our district proudly donates over $60,000 to Rotary International's Polio Plus fundraising efforts. Thank you. We are especially pleased that our donations make an even greater impact, as you will soon learn. Additionally, Rotarians in my district have served on the vaccination teams, which is quite life-changing experience for both the Rotarian and the child, as you might imagine. And with me tonight is my colleague in Rotary, District Governor Mark Roberts. Mark, would you like to say a few words?
Julie, thank you, and good evening. I bring greetings from Rotary District 6460. There's 48 Rotary clubs and about 2,200 Rotarians in West Central Illinois, so we're pleased to be here. Even though it is a bit brisk, I want to really quickly share a story with you that I think will help to inform the reason that it's so important that we're here tonight. In January of this year, I was in San Diego, California with all of the district governor-elects from all around the world. Julie was there as well. We were in a large hotel, and during one of the sessions, I was in a breakout room with about 20 other district governor-elects from all over the world. The room was set up essentially in a horseshoe shape. And on this side, I remember a from Pakistan and a gentleman from India and some others all throughout that room. And we got to talking at some point about polio eradication. And at one point when the room was quiet, the gentleman directly across from me from Pakistan, with much seriousness and much gravity, said, "We would like to thank you, those of you from the West, for providing the financial resources that allow us to keep our children healthy and to keep them safe." And the room was quiet, and I was thankful that I had the presence of mind shortly thereafter to say, "No, we want to thank you, because you're the ones who are really doing the work. You're the ones who are taking the fight to the places the fight needs to be taken." And what we do here in the West is pretty easy for us to write a check or make a contribution on our credit cards. That's the way we're doing it. But you know what they do? They get on a horseback sometimes, or in a truck, and they go up into the mountains, and they put these 3 drops in the mouth of these children. And sometimes some of those people die doing that, because the Taliban and other tribal factions don't trust them being there, even though they're just trying to do right. So that brought home to me the importance of what we're doing and the important role that we have in just writing those checks to help them do the work that they need to do. So delighted to be here, and so pleased to be here with my colleague Julie. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mark. Thanks for joining us tonight too. We really appreciate you being here. Now, poliomyelitis, most commonly known as poliovirus, or simply polio, can strike people of any age, but mainly affects children under the age of 5. Polio was once a disease feared worldwide, striking suddenly and paralyzing children for life. The virus is spread from person to person, typically through contaminated water. It can attack the nervous system and lead to paralysis, sometimes causing total paralysis within a matter of hours. Initial symptoms include fever, fatigue, headache, vomiting, stiffness in the neck and joint, and pain in the limbs. 1 in 200 infections leads to irreversible paralysis. Now, among those paralyzed, 5 to 10% die when their breathing muscles become immobilized.
There is no cure for polio, but thankfully polio is preventable with a safe and effective vaccine, a vaccine which Rotary and our partners have used to immunize over 2.5 billion, yeah, that's billion with a B, children worldwide. Rotary International and our partners have reduced the cases of polio by 99.9% since 1988, with an estimated 350,000 cases then to actually 33 cases in 2018. All right. More than 18 million people are able to walk today who would otherwise have been paralyzed, and an estimated 1.5 million childhood deaths have been prevented.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, 4 regions of the world are certified polio-free: Americas, Europe, Southeast Asia, and the Western Pacific. Only 3 countries remain as polio endemic: Afghanistan, Nigeria, and Pakistan. Eliminating all cases is going to take even more progress and perseverance. And as you can imagine, Afghanistan and Pakistan face unique challenges, including political insecurity, highly mobile populations, and difficult terrain. Polio now survives only in these countries among the world's poorest and most marginalized communities, where it stalks the most vulnerable children. And the goal is to reach every last child with the polio vaccine and ensure a polio-free world for future generations. As long as a single child remains infected, children in all countries are at risk of contracting polio. No child anywhere is completely safe from polio unless we have vaccinated every child. And until we end polio, every child is at risk. Remember this: polio is just a plane ride away.
So today, one day, one focus, ending polio. With the motto "Service Above Self" as inspiration, Rotary has committed to raising $50 million per year for polio eradication. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has pledged to match that 2-to-1 for a total commitment of $150 million each year. These funds provide the much needed operational support, the medical workers, laboratory equipment, and educational materials. This global effort to eradicate polio is the largest public-private partnership in public health. Governments, corporations, and private donors have all played a crucial role in meeting the funding goals. Rotary International, along with the World Health Organization, UNICEF, the Centers for Disease Control, the Gates Foundation, have made it possible to vaccinate 3 billion people in 20 years. And more than 1 million Rotary members have donated their time and money to eradicate polio, and every year, hundreds of Rotarians work with medical workers to vaccinate children. We are proud that our districts here in Illinois are fully involved.
We fight to end polio to improve lives. 16 million are walking today who would have otherwise been paralyzed. We fight to end polio to invest in the future. Unless we eradicate polio within 10 years, as many as 200,000 new cases could occur around the world each year. A polio-free world will be a safer world for children everywhere. We fight to end polio to improve overall children's health. In most countries, the sophisticated disease surveillance network and vaccination campaigns used by Rotary and its partners has expanded capacities to monitor children for their health problems like a vitamin deficiency and measles, so they can be addressed much sooner. We fight to end polio to save money. A polio-free world will save the global economy up to $50 billion, and that's with a B, in health care costs within the next 20 years. We fight to end polio to make history. Polio eradication will be one of the history's greatest public health achievements, with polio following, it's cold up here, with polio following smallpox to become only the second human disease eliminated from the earth. We are...
Do this with us, folks.
Yes.
We are this close to making history.
So here in Illinois, Governor J.B. Pritzker has declared today, October 24th, 2019, as World Polio Day throughout our state. And I think that's it. Where is it? Yeah.
Should I hold it up?
Yeah, sure. That would be good. So that's our proclamation from J.B. Pritzker. So thank you so much. Well, this is very fitting for us because Rotary started in Evanston back in 1905 when a gentleman named Paul Harris asked a handful of his friends to join him in doing good.
So Rotarians have been doing good ever since, here in Illinois and throughout the world, and we thank Governor Pritzker very much for this honor. Thank you.
We thank you all for being here again, but we have some very special guests with us tonight. State Representative Dan Brady, thank you. John McIntyre, the Chairman of the McLean County Board, Mayor Terry Renner of the City of Bloomington, and our very good friend, Dr. Larry Dietz, a fellow Rotarian, President of Illinois State University. Unfortunately, Mayor Chris Coos and members of the town of Normal are unable to join us this evening. We are fortunate that Rotary International past district governor and current district Rotary Foundation chair, Larry Howell, can join us on stage to represent them. So, thank you, Larry.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this beautiful fall evening on the campus of Illinois State University on this homecoming eve for the Redbirds. How about a round of applause for that?
Yay! Go Redbirds!
I hadn't noticed the cold, so I took my jacket off and left it at home, which feels very comfortable right now. Julie, I just want to congratulate you and all the Rotarians and present you with House Resolution 508, which I'm also joined from the Senate with Senator Chapin Rose sponsoring same resolution. And when we go back to Springfield on Monday, the 28th, we are going to pass that resolution and officially read it into the record for both these resolutions in the House and the Senate in the honor of all the Rotarians and their work on polio and eradication. Also on October 28th is another special day for the eradication of polio. If you didn't know, it is the birthday of Jonas Salk and Mr. Bill Gates. So a very fitting tribute on that particular day. Thank you all for what you do and keep up the great work. We're that close. Thank you, Julie.
And next we have John McIntyre.
Thank you. It is said that in order to fully understand what something really means to others, you have to be one who's experienced and actually experienced something like that yourself. Some of you might be old enough to be part of my generation when many of us were children during the pre-inoculation days of polio. I remember as a child in elementary school in 1952 when I first experienced classmates being hospitalized, some returning with crutches and leg braces. The fear that all our families experienced. The warnings given to us by our mothers and fathers to not drink from water fountains or, of course, don't go swimming. I remember those classmates who were afflicted yet survived this horrible epidemic, many retaining crippling effects for the rest of their lives, and a few who didn't return to school. I haven't forgotten who they were and what they went through. I vividly remember the times when my parents took me along to visit a family friend who was in an iron lung. There's a picture of one right over here. Some of you have seen it. It literally scared the heck out of me as a child. The first iron lung was actually a wooden lung that was designed in Bloomington, Illinois by Mr. Osborne, down where the site of the original Eureka Williams oil plant is in the south end of Bloomington. And now, almost 70 years later, it has astounded me to learn that there are still people and children in this world, in Nigeria and Pakistan and Afghanistan and other countries, who are experiencing what we felt so many years ago. We're all indebted to Rotary International for all that you've done and will do to help people end, for all, this incurable yet preventable disease. On this past September 27th, at the full meeting of our McLean County Board, I was honored to be able to present to District Governor Julie Dobski a proclamation declaring October 24th today as World Polio Day in McLean County. Since we'd already done this, I'll give it to you right now. In order to read that, I just want to say, in part, thank you to the 5 Rotary clubs and its members in McLean County for doing your part in helping to address this critical issue, along with so many more of your undertakings in the areas of poverty, health, hunger, illiteracy, and the environment. Our proclamation ends with, whereas these efforts are providing much needed operational support, medical personnel, laboratory equipment, and educational materials for health workers and parents, then be it resolved that we say thank you, Rotary International, from the people of McLean County, for encouraging all of the citizens to fight for a polio-free world.
Next, we're going to have Larry Howe. Come on up. Thank you, Larry.
Hi. I too am a child of the 50s or 40s. I remember the day my mother took me to the Arthur Community Unit School's community room, and this lady in a white dress handed me what I thought was a piece of candy. It was a sugar cube. I had no clue what that was all about. Mom said, "Take it, it's good for you." What I know is after I took it, life changed. I got to go out and play with my friends. I got to take swimming lessons. I became a kid, no longer confined and sheltered from this disease, polio. Julie, I know that Mayor Coos would like to be here, but it is my pleasure to give you the proclamation from the city of Normal for this wonderful day called World Polio Day. Thank you.
Terry, now I'd like to invite you up, please.
Thank you all very much, and it's really an honor to be here, and particularly for such an incredible cause. And I want to thank Rotary International, not just the representatives that we're fortunate to have here in our community and great leaders in our region, but also Rotary International throughout the world, making a contribution that is the better part of humanity. We see those drops over there, very simple acts that human beings can act to help others to be sure that they don't have this tragic disease. That is human beings helping others. That is the better part of humanity. That's so much what Rotary International is a part of, and I'm so honored to be here. We also are in a situation where the city of Bloomington declared today to be World Polio Day, and Julie was there to receive this not too many weeks ago, and so I will spare reading all of the details of this, but it certainly is one that I think all citizens of Bloomington can embrace, and we are so fortunate to have Julie Dobski as our regional governor. Thank you, or district governor, excuse me, thank you.
Anyway, so thank you so much. This kind of support from our state and local officials is so wonderful. It is proof that Illinois recognizes the vital importance of this goal to make history by eradicating polio. Thank you so much. Now, Larry Dietz, would you like to say a few words before we light things up here at ISU Bone Student Center? And I have to tell you, Larry was at our conference the other night, and he told his own personal story about polio. It was amazing. Thank you so much for doing that, Larry.
Well, thank you very much. In the interest of time and temperature, I will be brief. The university is not in the business of proclamations, but perhaps we should start that. If I had one tonight, I would certainly give it. But first of all, I want to say welcome to Illinois State University. It is homecoming week we hope that all of you will participate in all those activities. But as Julie mentioned last Saturday night, I was blessed to be asked by her to address Rotary, and it was called Making a Difference, a Personal Story. And I won't repeat that. It was a longer speech than tonight allows for. I will tell you that it is a personal story for me because in 1952, my brother was stricken by polio. He and I were kids. We slept in the same bed in a small farmhouse in the southern part of the state. We both had the inoculation, but in those early years, the inoculation worked for some people and didn't work for others. And unfortunately, my brother was one of those that it didn't work so well for. He spent 6 months in an iron lung in Springfield, Illinois, and there were only about 3 people in his section of the hospital who lived. He was not supposed to live beyond the age of 10. He passed away about 3 years ago at the age of 72. And he had a fairly decent life. His physical limitations, he really never took those as limitations. He was a very active fellow. He married, had 3 beautiful daughters, worked most of his life, but was always reminded on a daily basis of the devastation that polio can have on an individual and frankly on a family. So one of the reasons that I'm a proud Rotarian is the fact that they had polio eradication as a part of their whole reason for existence, in addition to the service above self motto. So you all do make a difference. Polio eradication will make a difference in the lives of many, many people the world over. So one of the things that we've often said is that we're this close. We need to get to this close, and that helps with contributions, and I will personally present a check to Julie tonight to help get us a little bit closer to all of that. But thank you for being out here. We're honored to host this event tonight, and want to say a big thank you to Julie as my district governor and one of the clubs that I'm in here, the Noon Club here in the building, and to all the other district governors, to all of the officials who have taken official action to declare this World Polio Day and to celebrate being this close, but to have a huge celebration when we get to this close and polio is eradicated from the face of the earth. If we can do that, and we've proven that we can with one other disease, if we can do that with polio, think what could happen if, as a world community, we then put up the next disease that we are going to eradicate, and the next disease, and the next disease. Wouldn't the world be a better place? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Well, thank you, Dr. Dietz, for this opportunity to be at ISU. We're so appreciative of that. So if I could have everybody stand maybe, and it's time to light up the Bone Student Center to declare our commitment to end polio now. We'll do a little countdown. 1. Oh, 10? I was going to say, yeah, 3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Wait a minute. Ready, Joe? 3, 2,
1.
boom.
Yay!
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you to my colleague, District Mark Roberts. We've been together for a couple years now, so thank you for being here this evening. The officials and Dr. Dietz and all my friends in Rotary. And thank you to the staff of Illinois State University for their fantastic support. We appreciate it. So good night, everyone, and our dream is to wake up one morning very, very soon to a polio-free world. And thank you all again for being here. And everybody is invited to dinner if they'd like to join us in the foundation room. So please join us if you can. We'd love to have you. Thank you all. You better run in.